everyone. I'm Amanda Sharp, the mom.
Andrew Lang, the Bachelor.
Aaron LeDuc, the dad.
Hence the 30 minutes with a mom, dad, and young bachelor. So we're so excited that you're here today. I feel like we have a lot to talk about. Mostly about me. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Totally kidding. I wanted to talk about Snapchat/podcast before I forget. And how embarrassing it was when I had to Snapchat Aaron how to find podcasts on my phone. Not my finest moment, but the Snapchat was basically, Aaron, I want to listen to some true crime podcasts, and I don't know how to do it on my phone. And so he sent screenshots, and it helped.
If it makes you feel any better, I was not wise enough to send you the screenshot through Snapchat. I had, so the help was through Facebook Messenger and Snapchat. So don't beat yourself up. I probably could have done it all from Snapchat, but I was like, oh.
AJ's laughing. No, it was really embarrassing because I'm like, and what was most embarrassing is we have a podcast, and I wouldn't have known how to listen to it outside of going to YouTube or Facebook. That's embarrassing.
Am I the only one on this show that actually downloads, listens to the podcast, and has left a review?
Yeah.
Dad's calling everybody out.
Yeah. No, I did follow our podcast once I knew how to find it, because I upload the podcast to a podcast like generator thing, so I know it's out there. I just didn't know how to connect the dots to listen to it through a podcast thing.
We need to figure out how to get on Spotify as well.
So it's different? Oh, Lord.
I think Wyatt called me out that we weren't on Spotify, and he's like, I'm an Android user. That's what I use Spotify for he doesn't use the podcasting app.
Interesting.
We'll have to invest some time and figure that out.
I wonder if it's just making an account.
It might be, but we have the RSS feed, so yeah, we might have to make the account and then share the RSS feed, so Amanda just has to upload it to the one site, because that's how it's going to iTunes.
Oh, so it's just creating the channel or whatever, and then putting that feed to that spot,
I think.
Aaron hooked that up. I just know how to upload it after it's been hooked up. But it was not my finest moment. But I have to say, I'm a little disappointed by the podcast content out there. In a world that everyone has a podcast, I was looking, women entrepreneurs, female leaders, because I love men, but sometimes they don't think like I think. I can't think like they think. So I can listen to them, but I'm not taking away the same thing that I would from maybe a woman leader, right? And it is lacking. So I would
maybe you should start.
I was about to say, maybe there's a role that should be filled.
But I don't know what role, unless I know, maybe I'm just searching wrong too, to be fair, because I just downloaded the app.
There's a giant genre.
I have to agree, it is so hard to find new podcasts, especially I just use the podcast app through Apple. So it is so hard to find
that's what I'm using.
New creative podcasts.
So you're with me on there, because it'll give me suggestions, but when I looked up women entrepreneurs or leaders, a lot of men stuff was still popular. I said specifically women, like Tony Robbins, I like you and all, but you're a man. So I might just need to play around. But boy, is it easy to find a true crime podcast.
Oh yeah.
That was really easy.
Do you listen to My Favorite Murder?
Not yet. I'm still getting a list.
I love their tagline. It's it's either stay sexy and don't get murdered, or stay classy and don't get murdered. That's how they sign off.
That's cute.
But they have stickers for cars.
That's a little disturbing, but it's kind of cute at the same time. I was watching Cold Case, which is why I even wanted to download the podcast thing to listen to true crime. That's why Aaron needed to help me. And when I was watching Cold Case, it's every episode was about a woman or a child getting murdered.
They're easy targets. I'm joking.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is so sad. And maybe just the, no offense to men, just maybe when men get murdered, it's a little bit more of a boring, there's not a story behind it.
A lot of times if we get killed, it's our own fault.
I mean, I didn't say that, but no, I don't know. Like, I guess when like a man kills a woman or something, there's more of a drama to it. Where if a man gets killed, there's not necessarily drama to it. There was a heated argument and someone ended up dead.
Right.
Or a man did something silly.
Or AJ and I are like, we can beat this train.
Yeah.
Really, murder. Let's just.
Right.
You guys had high hopes. I don't beat a train because I would be really sad. No, beat the train, but don't try to beat the train because I'm so sad.
When it's a tie at the tracks, you lose. That was a poster that my neighbor growing up had in his room because he loved trains.
You're
I just get over the fact that Aaron will not drive with me again. Like, he does not like.
I didn't say that.
Did we discuss why he won't drive? I don't think we did on a podcast.
I just offered to drive from here on out. That's not the same thing.
Let's dive into how you really came to
AJ,
that.
if I lost a hand or a limb, I would gladly hop in your car and have you drive to the hospital. Gladly.
To the hospital, but only that one trip.
Yeah, just the one trip.
Just the one.
I got a ride back. Don't worry. I'll get a ride back. I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, Aaron. I do blame you for this one. Because what road were we on? Do you remember?
My eyes were closed. No, joking.
It's 4 lanes, but it splits off because there's a bridge and a median in the middle. And Aaron's like, you need to get over because it doesn't come back together. And the GPS was telling us we had to get over. So I was like, okay, well, clear, I'll go. And we rode up on top of the median. Now, mind you, this median was like this big. Aaron was like, freaking out.
The best was AJ's response of, median wasn't that big.
Well, when he shows it, it's like this. I don't know any medians that are just like that. That's lower than a sidewalk.
He caught it early on. It was ramping up. He did a Dukes of Hazzard move.
But I did.
There was an initial incline.
I drive like a teenager, and this is probably why today I'm replacing 4 bearings in the vehicle today.
Are you doing that today? You're doing all 4?
I'm pretty sure I need to replace all 4. I know the back 2 definitely need to be replaced.
So you got all the parts and you're doing it today? All right, that's cool.
You're doing it yourself?
Yes.
Look at this handyman. I'm so proud.
Yeah,
That's an amazing thing.
See, and I was like, call Shaw Automotive.
Right? Hey, so Shaw Automotive, I think that's my friend's family's place. Is that on North Dixie?
It is on Monroe Street.
Oh, North Monroe Street though?
No.
By the theater, the...
Right after the Y, kind of right by Netto, when you're at where Netto meets.
Yeah, by
that,
the place that they want to do the drive-in theater.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No worries. I was thinking North Dixie for some reason, but nope.
I love Shaw Automotive. We should tag them in this. They have always taken great care of me, and I've brought the 08 Sable there enough that they know my name and number, and I literally just hand off the keys and we'll call you when it's done.
I like it.
Kevin? I love them. Honest, great price.
Difference when you're taking your car in, because my fear in taking something in to get anything fixed is, all right, I'm taking it in for this problem, but you're going to tell me that 90% of my car is broken.
Never had that with Shaw.
I don't want that. And so when you can, I want them to tell me if something does truly need to be fixed, though, in addition to the broken thing. But the upsell kind of drives me crazy.
Did you guys see my Snapchat story?
When was today?
From yesterday.
No.
Was it the one you sent me?
No, I'll show the video real quick. This just shows how bad my
What's your handle on Snapchat again?
Look at Aaron.
I like that. What about you guys?
I was talking when you said it. Can you say it again?
Yes. AJ Lang 13. Super simple. Let me pull up this video.
Except I can never remember it.
I don't even remember my own. I'm looking it up right now.
I think you're LeDuc Realtor, Aaron LeDuc Realtor or something.
LeDuc Realtor. Yep. Thank you. LADUKE. What's yours, Amanda?
Amanda Ann Sharp. Boring. Oh, look at my coffee cup. So, like, while you're digging up your TikTok, so this is Office Coffee House. This is down in Temperance, and I'm sorry, Lambertville, and it's super cute little like office, like workspace community.
Cool. That's a cool mug.
Yeah, it's like a co-op area where like people can have offices, but there's also the coffee shop in there, and it's so cute. It looks like Joanna Gaines made a little like office coffee house. They did an amazing job. Love
so
it.
you could do like a remote closing there.
Yes,
if you need
actually,
to, or meet a client.
Yeah, Joe and Sarah Albring are the owners. So
How do I know that name?
The Keys leader.
Oh.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, so I think it was really kind of designed with that need, and it's so cute. I love it so much. So go and support them.
I feel like Ivan's like, say something about Serenity now.
Oh, well.
Isn't Serenity great? What a great real estate agency.
We want everyone to win.
AJ, what's on your mug?
This actually came from the UP. It says, "Don't feed the bears." My mom got it for me when she came back from vacation.
Solid advice. That's a good looking mug. Both of your mugs are great.
That mug. I really like the black matte like feeling of this one. It looks like yours is like that too. What you got, Aaron? What you got? What's your tea in?
I have a blue mug that
blends in with your background.
Won't show up with the background.
This only like makes us have to get mugs again. Like we really need to do that. Jeez.
Mine's empty.
It's okay.
Sad.
Okay.
All right, show me your TikTok.
Okay. Let me make sure my volume's up.
Anyone who's actually viewing this in person, so sorry, we're so close to our screens right now. You can see my pores. AJ, what am I looking at? I know what I'm looking at, but what am I supposed to be like noticing? Oh, you have spinning wheels now?
We'll describe it for the audience. So AJ's got his car jacked up.
Yes, my car.
And you sent me something similar. Go ahead. I'll just let you do it, AJ.
So my car was jacked up, and the biggest telltale if your bearings are shot is if you take the wheel and there's play going side to side like this. My wheel moves like this. I can actually see the bearing going like this in the boot or in the knuckle. And then at the end, you can hear just it when it turns. So
at first, when you were like, it's jacked up, I was like, is that one of those spinny wheels? Like jacked up like in a cool way? I was like,
she thought you got like spinning rims.
Yeah. Thank you for explaining what I was trying to explain, because I was like, spinny wheels. So that's what I was seeing. I couldn't see that it was actually, but you meant like truly jacked up.
Yeah, it was jacked up.
Like 1980s, I'm jacking up a car.
Yeah.
Got it.
AJ's gonna roll in like.
We'll put in some hydraulics, yeah.
Hey, we get more eyes on your sign.
That's true.
Throw that out there.
I could never ride in one of those. I get so car sick. I can't even imagine how, like, ugh.
I'd get a headache.
I hear some of the music, yours including AJ, and I don't know how people don't have headaches when they're listening to their music.
I'm pretty sure I threw my speaker.
So your car is like just broken right now? Because you were listening to it that loud?
AJ.
These young babies.
He didn't have it that loud when I was in the car with him. And AJ's driving is not that bad. I don't want people to think that you're like a hazard on the wheel. It was just, you know what, the GPS kicked in last minute. AJ made a judgment call. We got there safe.
Hey.
All good. We enjoyed an ice cap after. We're friends. I mean, I just was like, hey, I'll drive this. And actually, you drove last time. It was my turn to drive anyway.
I know. It's just fun to poke fun at.
Okay, as long as people know.
We're old. It's okay. It's okay. That's why I drive everywhere. No, I'm kidding. I'm not a good driver. I just get sick. I can feel it. I can feel the nausea.
Do you have any other big announcements you'd like to make, Amanda?
Yeah, it was so traumatic, but I took the broker exam yesterday and I passed for the state of Michigan. I should add that. And so let me just tell you, I was snapping Aaron a little bit yesterday about the whole adventure because like yesterday morning I was studying really hard and at some point I was like, I don't even know what to study anymore. Like I just keep reading the same material that I know. So like I had some extra time to snap and I had to go up to Dearborn. So that was about an hour drive. And I left at noon because my test was at 2. So I wanted, plenty of time. And there was traffic and stuff. So it was a good thing. And then I was like, I'll get there a little early and actually, like study a little bit more. But then there was just like nothing, again, worth studying that I didn't know. So as I'm snapping Aaron, like a spider comes down out of my car, freaks me out. And then I'm snapping again. And then a bird hits my windshield while I'm sitting there. And I'm like, I'm already stressed. I'm sweating. I'm anxious. Like, and what's so funny is I woke up that morning and I was like, man, I swear I could talk in front of 1 million people easier than going to take this test. Like that's the anxiety I feel. It's so stupid, but it's real. So I go into the place. The ladies are really nice. And they have like, I don't know, 20 or 30 seat spots and like they're spaced out, but like you're sitting next to a person and like the little mouse is like clicking of all these other people. And I'm like, I can't pay attention. And then one person's literally reading it out loud. Da 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 da, but like with a soft whisper.
So are you serious?
Oh, AJ, you're that speaker out or louder.
Speaker out or louder.
Wants to purchase. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I read the first question and I'm already like, I'm so in trouble. It was not anything. And so I had the piece of paper, that they give you to do your math and stuff. And so I was like, I told myself, I'm like, I'm just going to check, like put check marks when I think I got a problem wrong. Cause I want to gauge how I thought.
Oh, okay. I never thought of that.
Because it's 125 questions. You have to get 80%. So I knew like where I needed to land. And so I'm like, okay, number 1.
So you did confirm it is 80%?
Well, that's what I kept telling myself.
Okay. Okay. Go on. Sorry.
Anyway. So I'm like, oh, number 1, wrong. Read number 2. I'm like, whew, wrong. So by the time I get to like number 50, I already have like 25 that I'm confident I already got wrong.
You're like, maybe I should stop doing these check marks.
Yeah, I know. And I kept looking, and then I would cross it out. I was like, wow, 35. And like, I got up to like 45 that I truly thought I got wrong. Like, there was no way I was going to get it right. But I was like, okay, I got a 40% chance that I did get that one right, though, just from simply guessing. And so I was terrified. But really, like, all I could keep thinking about during the test was like, this is not what I studied at all. Like, and so if I would have failed, I wouldn't have even known how to study. Fully honest. Like, the questions tripped me up so much. It was so weird. I guess my general knowledge of vocabulary is probably the only thing that actually got me to pass.
Okay.
And my experience as being a realtor already gave me a good enough answer on some of the other questions. Because a lot of it was on agency relationship, but like they trip you up with like the words.
Yeah.
Like, so I had to do the survey at the end. You know how they do that stupid survey. And I didn't go through, I answered every question like the first time. I didn't like pass any of them. And there was like only like 2 math questions. That was it. So that was awesome. Maybe there was more and I just like blocked it out. So I did
check.
Yeah, I know another 154 now. And I like, of course I do all excellence for the
because you do the survey before you get the results, right?
Yes.
Are you like me that's like, if I'm not nice?
Yes. So I'm like, excellent. I mean, there was no truth to my answers. Now, granted, it was a great experience, but it was still a terrible experience anytime you take a test. So it was excellent. And it was 10 questions. And I'm like, you just did 125. Like, you don't want to do 10 more questions. And then it's like, are you sure you want to move forward? And then the thing like spun forever. I'm like,
the wheel of death.
The wheel of death. Like
they automatically back up though. I think you would have been fine if it crashes. I
panicked a little, and I kid you not, like every 5 questions, I like stopped and said a prayer. I was like, Lord, this girl needs a miracle. I'm sure, like, I can't even imagine what other people we're seeing me do, but like I truly every 5 questions was like, this is so hard, Lord help me out.
Called it a favor.
I know. And it popped up that I passed after the wheel of death finally disappeared. And I truly, like, the relief I felt, like, I seriously started crying. It was so awful. Like, people probably thought I failed.
The other kids are, wow, she really failed that.
No, but it was like I was overcome with so many emotions of like the pressure was finally off. Like, like I could breathe. And so like my eyes, I went out. I was like, do people normally cry?
They're like, when they fail.
She's like, the broker exam is hard. I'm like, I know.
I just did it.
I'm like, I'm not giving you my paper because this is the only proof I have until I take a picture of it that I passed. She was really sweet, but it was scary and I felt amazing after I did it. But I don't know how, because I felt like I just didn't know any of it. Which I obviously knew more than what I'm giving myself credit for, because it's just, there's always like two good answers.
Yep.
When there's worded answers, there's always 2 really good ones. And 2 that are so similar too. Like one just might have extra little something, and that's.
I don't know why they do that.
Yeah.
I hate standardized testing.
So it's
Aaron,
done and it's over with.
Your experience with the test.
Yeah.
Say that, AJ.
What was your experience with the test?
Real estate exam. I'm the kind of guy that my cutoff for studying is the night before. I don't study the morning of, because it's like, if I don't know by now, I'm not going to know it. I'm going to get myself flustered. So I try to do the exams like the first appointment. I'd rather wake up at 6. I got to be there at 8, be on the road by 6:30, 7, get there. My experience was all right. I actually got there too early, and they weren't finished setting up yet. But another agent who was working in Wayne County, I should have got her name. She was like my little clone, because she was thinking the same thing. So we ended up just chatting outside, waiting for him to come get us. And then I sat down, I did the test, and I'm more, it's weird. I worry more about the prep, and then again, I give myself that cutoff. I'm like, I'm not worried about it anymore. I just sit down. If I'm like, oh, I got no idea what this one is, C. And then I move on. And then sometimes I circle back, and I'm like the laziest test taker there, because sometimes I'm like, I'll have ones marked that I want to review, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't know it then. I don't know it now. No need to review.
Just guess at that point.
At that point, because I will always guess before I move on. I'll mark it, which you can do. I'll never leave it blank, because it's like if I run out of time and I got to hit submit, I want that answered, because I'm not, you don't get in trouble for fake or incorrect answers. So yeah, I don't want to say I get lazy, but at the end, I'm like, I'm so over this. I'm just hitting submit. I'm not reviewing anything. And then, of course, the survey, I'm like, oh, everything was lovely. Like, my answers would be different if I knew I passed and you couldn't take it away. But I have a feeling that if I don't rate you well, they're going to like, well, bump them down 1%.
10 points.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Gone.
And I always have to pee during the test.
I did go to the bathroom before because.
Well, I always do, but it's a mental thing.
It's fair. So did the gal that you chatted with, do you know if she passed?
I finished before. I have no idea. She was dead to me after I'm like, oh, I passed. She's dead to me. Let's go. I want to get in the car and go home.
It really is in real life. Stop.
I gotta find me some brokers.
Yeah, you do.
What about you, AJ? What was yours?
Gosh, mine. I was like you. I did the earliest I could. The first test block that they had. I couldn't sleep the night before. I think I got an hour of sleep.
Because you were studying, or just your nerves?
I was nervous. I was so nervous. I don't know why I was so nervous, but I was super nervous. Got there super early. Like, the door wasn't even unlocked.
You're waiting outside.
Like, that's how early I was there. And
Did you study while waiting?
Oh, dude, I studied nonstop until they took my phone away, basically.
Fair.
So I was studying nonstop until they said, yep, we can come in. And I'm sitting there, I'm talking to this guy who's taking his electrician test. And there was no other realtors or people taking the real estate exam with me. It was like cosmetology, electrician, what have you. But I get there. I sit down. I was with you guys. I sat down, read the first question. I was like, what?
It's just the wording is just so awful.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm with Aaron. If I don't, I was in school, they always teach you, especially because the time tests. If you don't know it, put your best guess. You know, they always say stick with that same letter. Mine's always C.
Yep. So when in doubt, C your way out.
Yep.
My dad taught me that.
And that's what they teach you for the big exams like the SAT, the ACT, and that kind of stuff. Like
now, that's only when like there's no clear winner of the four. With the exam, I'm sure you saw this too, AJ. Normally, you could like narrow it down to one or two possibilities, and then you're obviously going to choose one of those.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go on.
And then same, yeah. When I for sure thought I was going to fail when I hit that submit, and I hate that it's like, are you sure? Are you really sure?
Yes, it asks you that like 1,000 times.
So I hit pass, and as soon as I saw the little pass, it's green too. It's like a little screen like the size of the Zoom meeting, and it says pass. And I really wish it tells you like how many you got right.
Percentage, yeah.
And
I'm okay with a little mystery in my life.
Yeah. That mystery at least.
Did you reread it like 3 times before advancing? Because I'm like, oh wait, did I read it right? Did I read it right? Did this really pass? Okay.
Yes, and then like I hit pass, and it was just, or I got the pass. Big sigh of relief. I almost cried. I think I did. I think I held it to it.
I think when you're so nervous, like there's just that sense of like, oh my gosh. And I was on a high after like I left, but like halfway, like driving home, like that like heaviness, like I felt like 1,000 pounds all of a sudden. Like my eyelids were so heavy. Like I just felt so exhausted. And It was at 2:00 too. So that's when I'm winding down anyway. But it just is so, it's rough. And I felt like it was worse than the real estate exam as far as not the content was harder or anything like that, but I really don't feel like I studied for the real estate exam like I did for the broker exam. Like when I was doing my practice exams, like from multiple different sources, I mean, I was knocking those out like in 45 minutes or less. Like I was like, I knew the answers, I was going. And so when I sat down and I read that question, I was like, oh my God, like I studied too hard to be this confused still.
How long did it take you, do you think, to complete the actual exam?
So I got there pretty early. And when it was like 1:15, I was like, I'm just going to walk in, go to the bathroom, whatever. Because they say arrive 30 minutes early. So I probably like literally sat down in front of the computer screen at 1:30. Like they let me start like super early.
At 1:30.
And it wasn't like the 9:00 where they probably adhere to the time for that.
Well, they gotta boot everything up.
Yeah. So for that one,
like you saw AJ, you're kind of like twiddling your thumbs over there. Like,
yeah, where they just let me sit right down. And like when I went in there was already like probably 5 other people that had started too. And when I got to my car, it was like 3:30 something. So it was a solid 2 hours.
Oh wow!
It did not feel like it. But if you figure there's 125 questions, that's a minute a question. That would make sense.
How would you rate yourself as far as with multiple choice? Are you a fast test taker or are you pretty slow?
I would say I'm pretty fast because if I don't know the answer, I read every question or every answer twice. I probably read the question twice and every answer twice to make sure, unless I really know it. And there was, I would say about 50% I really did know. Just by process of elimination, like because I knew what this meant, so I knew that was not an option. I could always narrow it down to 2 pretty easily. But like I said, I stopped and I prayed a lot. So that was probably 30 minutes worth of my test.
The prayer. So you really did an hour and a half.
Fair. That's fair. And I had
about a minute a question. What's that?
I had the stupid mask on too. So like when you're hyperventilating and the mask is going.
I just would have fogged up.
I don't think I could take a test with a mask on.
I don't.
Fidgeting with it too much.
Yeah, you should get some grace points for having to take a test with a mask on. I agree.
It was, so anyone who's going through this right now, we all feel you. We're there for you. Pray a lot and study a lot.
Are you a fast test taker, AJ, or a slow test taker?
I love to take my time on tests. I hate the fact that tests are timed. I don't think anything that is great, like if you're striving for excellence, it shouldn't be timed, in my opinion. So I'm a slow test taker. I'll reread the question and then I'll pinpoint the key points in the question and try to, process elimination, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I like to take my time on tests.
And to be fair, they give you a generous amount of time. Like the broker one was 3.5 hours you had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So like
we had the same answer. Oh, really?
Yeah, I seriously had like almost double the amount of time I needed.
Yeah. And I felt the same way with the agent exam as well, the regular real estate exam. I felt like I flew through that, even though I'm a slow test taker.
Like you still had plenty of time.
Left over. And I was stressed over the time too before taking it.
Yeah.
Aaron, what about you?
I am with multiple choice tests. I'm
pump it out
because I try not to get myself worked up. So it's like, oh, I don't know this. C, or oh, I don't know this. Who can I eliminate? All right, now I got a 33% chance. You know what I mean? I'm pretty quick. What I'm not quick with. So I took the CPA exam, and that's a chunk of that is multiple choice, and then they have these task-based simulations at the end, which are like these huge problems. Those I suck at. I can take a multiple choice test.
Gotcha.
Be done super fast, but like if I have to do like a story problem and I got it, because that's when I tend to overanalyze.
Sure.
So I love that the broker exams all multiple choice.
And it is, but it is every question's more of that problem question.
Right.
And that's where like you get tripped up. And I will say, like, I really almost feel like, and this people could disagree with me, but even if I had my phone and was able to like try and search for the answer, the way it's worded, like if you don't know enough to even be able to search it, like you're not even going to get that answer correctly. Like your phone really would have did no one any good for that particular test, in my opinion,
right.
Because it wasn't about like, if you were hung up on the vocabulary, then you weren't even going to pass. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Because like I said, I don't even know how I would have studied further if I would have failed, just because of the way it was. I think it's so much on comprehension and just making sure you're reading that question correctly. And I can't remember. I took the real estate one so long ago. I can't remember if the real estate questions were like that.
Yeah, a lot of them were scenario math-based type stuff, like, but it was more based on, instead of, like you said, it was your test, the broker exam was more agent relations or
agency relationships.
Yeah.
Where the real estate exam itself, I remember it being more like as a whole over the whole thing. Like there was title, there was a little bit of
it was broken up truly by more.
Right. There's a little bit of everything. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good point, AJ. I lucked out. My first question was a super easy definition question. So I sat down to it. I was like, oh,
nailed it.
All right. B, next question. And then it did ramp up. It seemed to ramp up and then kind of it teetered back down towards the end. So like I was confident, and then I was like, oh crap. And then it was like, oh, okay, I might have this.
I feel like my test started out real hard, and then towards the end, so either my mind adjusted to the problems, like reading the problem, like it was starting to adapt and understand and comprehend differently, but I felt like mine started out really bad. I think I got the hardest test available.
You might have. What about you, AJ? How was yours? Because we had to take them about the same time. I took mine in November, early November.
Beginning of November.
You did November as well?
Very beginning. Yeah, I remember. I feel like it was just kind of hit or miss. There was,
okay,
if I'm remembering, I feel like the first 10 were super hard, but after that it got a little easier, I think.
So I guess we'll wrap up with just saying, like, study tips for somebody who's taking any hard test, like for career-based, because Aaron, you've taken 2 different types of kind now for 2 different careers. So what would your suggestions be and tips for somebody who's taking a test like what we've done?
Obviously put in the work.
Yeah.
Put in the work before the exam. I'm a big proponent on the night before. I mean, study to a point, but then there's a point you got to shut off. And I think there's been studies that prove that, like, if you let your brain rest after absorbing all this stuff, your retention will be a little better. I always say get it done in the morning because I'm kind of guy where I get the most work done in the mornings, and I'm at my best in the morning. So I guess know yourself.
I was going to say know your zone and then do it then.
Stay in your lane. Yep. And then also it kind of makes you feel better to study like ways to be an effective test taker. Like AJ said, always answer them. If you leave a blank, it's automatically wrong. You at least have a chance if you might have guessed correctly, as long as guessing doesn't count against you. And that kind of gives you a little confidence too, because you're kind of like, all right, now I know the rules of this test.
Gives you a backup.
Right.
Some sort of result, whether it's right or not. AJ,
eat breakfast and go pee first.
That's right.
My biggest thing that I was always told, especially for like the SAT and that kind of stuff, is if you don't know, guess. Especially for those, you don't get marked down for guessing. You get marked down for not answering. Like Aaron said,
yeah,
you have a pretty good chance just guessing it right. I was always told to stick to the one letter though. So pick A, B, C, or D at the beginning of the test and stick to that throughout the whole test.
Why is it that C would be the best always? Because you both are agreeing to that. Like, wouldn't you think tests would have adjusted and be like, we're going to really screw with everyone?
Well, I don't know.
Like, it seems like so random that that's a secret that everyone knows.
That everyone picks C. I met one person that did B.
The test generators haven't shifted it yet.
But again, this is only on ones that you have no clue and none of the answers are making sense. Because normally, like, you can rule, all right, I know it's not D. You know what I mean? And then you're like, now I got a 33%. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's rare. And I think you would agree, AJ, and probably you and Amanda as well, like on these, that there was probably a very minimal number of questions that you looked at and you said, I have zero clue. A, B, C, and D do not make any sense. It was normally probably like, I know it's one of these two.
Absolutely.
And then you got a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, even if you can like get it down to the 3, then your
odds. Yeah.
There was only one question that I literally went, I have no idea, because none of the answers made sense to me. Like, it truly didn't. And it was one that I really knew well too, which was really what was confusing. I'm like, there's something wrong with this question. I'm like,
That's where C comes in.
I don't know what I answered. Obviously I answered something, and I can't remember the question, but I was really shocked. I was like, nail this one. And then I was like, my options just totally like threw me off.
Did you pump yourself up? And like, I always did this. I was like, oh, this clearly must be one that they're testing out, because not all the questions count towards your score. I'm like, oh, that's got to be. I have no idea what this is. This is a test question for.
And then you asked about like what you think about like the content and the test itself, and I really wanted to be like, this is the worst test ever. Like, this wouldn't like help anyone be a good broker.
What are you thinking?
I'm not going to publish this until I'm technically in the system. No, just kidding. It was at the end. I have no tips other than maybe just know your vocabulary really well, because I pray a lot. I think that's my biggest tip, is just every 5 questions, just pray and look like that crazy lady.
But knowing the basics can go a long way too.
I think so. I think that is where you can eliminate based on the basics. So good stuff. I like it. Oh my gosh. I feel like we just talked a lot about me today. Sorry, guys.
All good.
So,
it'll be about
congratulations.
Yes.
Like, I keep doing that a lot. Like I can breathe.
The weight's lifted. That's awesome.
Lifted.
Very proud of you. Very proud of you.
Thank you so much, guys. Well, I think that concludes this episode. We went a little longer. The last couple have been a little bit shorter.
Shocker.
That's okay. Only 40 minutes, which is better than 50 or 60. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, as Aaron would say, because that helps us, stay.
Leave a review.
Oh, yeah. On that, podcast little image thing on your phone.
Snapchat me. I'll tell you how to find it.
That's right. Any final words, guys? It's so cute. And you're like, nope, we talked it all out. All right, well, I'm Amanda Sharp, the mama.
Andrew Lang, the Bachelor.
Aaron LeDuc, the dad.
And we will see you next week.